Hey everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. This is RCB, aka Rocket Catchin' Bob, and today I wanted to go over 3 different tickers that we've kind of been on, we've been watching, we think they're setting up for a bigger move, or we've been in them and we're kind of seeing those moves happen. So we're just going to go right into it today and go over to FOMI, which has been a huge swing trade from about 46 cents to 47 cents that we talked about on the stream on Twitch. If you guys don't regularly get to check us out on Twitch, then that's why we make the YouTube videos here. Maybe you didn't know about it, but hey, come check us out over there if you want. We've been talking about this from this area here, about 46 to 47 cent area. I guess this green candle here really. So 45, 46 when it started breaking out of this little consolidation off the daily here, and it had this nice pop. So we took some 46s, and now today it's making a very nice move. So what we saw here was, here's the first thing. There was, if you draw from wick to wick, there was this. It's a nice little wedge, a downtrend, and we were anticipating that it would actually break this and moved past it, and when it did, it made a nice push all the way up to about 54s. So then I redrew my line from this wick to the 54 line, and that was kind of like that next potential wedge, and you wanted to see it consolidate and hold some higher lows and push up 54s and then break it. So this actually did happen, and we're very thankful because now we're kind of playing into this where there's no man's land. Basically, like, there is no resistance, or at least this is kind of a setup over 58s all the way up to about this marker of about 79 is a gap. Okay, and what you see a lot of on daily charts is gaps get filled a lot. It's just like a psychological thing, kind of a setup thing that I like to play off of. And also you can see that there's a 50 SMA here at about 69.70 cents, and that's why I have this white dashed line going across, because I think that's gonna have some resistance, and that's one of my targets on the way up to fill this gap. Most of my gains will probably be taken a little early, probably around 70s, but maybe I'll hold some for 78, 79s also. So if you're in this swing, maybe from 46 to 47s, congratulations, you're really looking nice. Today we had a nice push all the way up to about 53, 54s. And that's where that top of that wedge was on the daily that we showed you. That's kind of like that white dashed line. It came back down pretty vertically, pretty hard. Like, you can see that this is, this isn't like, how do I explain it? Like, normally you want to see it kind of do this. And then that's kind of how you know that, how to explain it? I guess, let's put it like this. It went from 54 cent all the way down to 50 cent in about, let's just look at it here. 1050 or 1050s all the way to 1120. So 30 minutes it made this move of almost like 5 to 10% going down. So of course I wanted to take some dips. I wanted to get in cheaper because I knew that I didn't think it was going to happen today, but maybe, you never really know how fast they're going to go, or when they're going to test those highs of that wedge. You just know that you're trying to accumulate and buy in because that pattern on the daily looks pretty solid and you feel like it could make a move. So that's where I was kind of adding in here at 51s, 52s, and we talked about it on the stream today that we thought the 54s could test very soon, if not today, maybe tomorrow. And later in the day you actually see this break some of these lower highs. It breaks out a little bit, goes sideways, and then you see a lot of volume come in and it breaks that 54s pretty fast. And this is kind of close to power hour, so a lot of people kind of have eyes on this. They know there's that setup, and you can look at like the 4 hour, you can look at the daily, and you can just see that there's a bigger technical analysis thing going on here. And a lot of people who swing trade like to have that, and when it's setting up nicely, there's a lot of eyes on it, and it'll bring in volume later. So it's usually better to have a catalyst with it. There was a 13G back May 4th with like a 10% investment. But I mean, really, it's made a nice move in after hours too. You can see there's still volume coming in, and my first target is around 70 cent, and I actually did add a little late on this, but I added in some after hours because I was like, man, this thing is, you know, pushing nicely. It went over to 62s, and then it came back down to 58, 59s, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna average up on it, even though like I probably shouldn't, but I mean, we got some 46s, 47s. We even got some 51, 52s. Now we got some 59s. It's a little high. You know, I probably shouldn't do that. But, you know, I still feel like the 70s is reachable. So that's why I've added. A lot of people on Twitter have asked, like, why did you add so high? You know, things like that. And how did you know it's going to happen? I guess this is a good brief overview of kind of what I saw and why I think it can do, you know, 70 cent, even to 80 cent. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Another ticker that I like right now is BBIG. It's setting up very nicely. Let's kind of go over to the daily real quick. So on the daily, you see that this has a lot of resistance right around this area of 5.10s, $5, right? Nice whole number psychological. And then somewhere around 5 to 5.10s, even 5.20s. If you look all the way across here, it almost touches perfectly. Let's just put a line there just to show you guys. 5.20s, and you see it wicked out here. It almost came to that 5.20 level. It did it again here for the third time, and then the fourth time is here today. So around 5.10s to 5.20s, and you see here there's actually like that line is right here. This is the resistance. So I've been kind of trying to accumulate this all day because I feel like it's setting up for maybe a push over that 5.10 to 5.20 area. And if you see that happen, we could see a nice push, you know, on the daily. You can see it has a lot of room. It could have room to 6s, could go to 7s. I mean, there's no telling. All you do know really is a lot of bag holders are stuck on this candle here. Back all the way, you know, some people might have bought 940s or whatever. But if you look at this, there's the only volume that's really had this big is back here on this candle. So I do expect that if it does break out, or it does break out, yeah, that's right. It's going to have some trouble, you know, somewhere around wherever this has some, you know, consolidation. Maybe we could look that up right now and see what's going on with it. Let's see where it got to. This is the 4 hour, so basically it popped all the way, let's see. It popped from 1s all the way to 9s very quickly. Let me see if I can get a 30-day 1 minute. It might take a second for it to load all the way back to that day, but this can help us kind of evaluate where it might get stuck at in a few days. If not, you know, tomorrow we'll see what happens here. Keep loading. I mean, anytime you have a chart like this that's setting up super nice, like you want to get all the information you possibly can to make sure that you know that when it actually does make that move, where you should scale out at, have, you know, some targets in mind. So I'm going to let this load the 30-day, and hopefully we'll find out more information about where that went to and where it got stuck at. It's still loading here. Maybe this is 30 days. Let me go back to this chart. How many days is this? Oh, it's like 6 months ago. I'm crazy. All right, I'll just leave that alone. But, I mean, if you can, go back and see if you can find more information about kind of like, you know, you want to look at the intraday like this. You know, whenever it had that big day, where did it have troubles at? Where can you take advantage? So, I'll look further into that, but obviously in the video I was not prepared for that. But this is setting up. Watch for 520 breaks. Obviously, you want to be in already. You don't want to be chasing this after 520s because your risk to reward will be all messed up and you'll be probably too high. My entries are lower around, you know, some wedge breaks around here before close, and then I actually added some more here at 490s, which was pretty high. But I saw that it was kind of getting some volume, and there was a nice little you know, resistance area at 490s that was kind of setting up to break in after hours. So I just took some extra. The last stock I want to talk about is AHT. This one has been an absolute beauty. So this is something we talked about. I I don't know when we talked about it. We talked about it back, like a couple weeks ago, and it was a great swing play from like threes. It kind of looks just like Fami a little bit, where you have this wedge where you have some lower highs, and you can see they kind of broke out of it, and it made a nice push all the way up to like 5s and 6s. I scaled out way early, even at like 390s or 4s or something like that, and then I even scaled out like 490s before 5. So I by no means played it perfectly. I just, had a nice swing play on it and was able to take some profits. 30% to 50% is amazing. I'll take that anytime. But now we're kind of getting into a secondary swing kind of play where, hey, it made that first move. Now it's consolidating up in this area. And I had this channel look to it. If you look at the daily, there's kind of this channel look. I'll show you more here on the intraday. So let's see if we can get like a 5-day, 1 minute. Or let's do a 5-day, 5 minute. Do I have that? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So this is a little bit easier for you guys to see. You can see that at $6, it had trouble multiple times. And then you can see it came down to 5s a couple times. And then it, kind of kept holding. This is a channel for me. I just knew, hey, I wanted to try to get in as low as possible. Closest to the bottom of the channel is better because then you have lower risk. So I just kind of got lucky. Today was the day I actually was able to add on a kind of a sell-off here, like 509s, 510s. I didn't know it was going to just like break out and go to 6s today. I didn't. What I did know was the daily was setting up nicely and there was a channel, and worst case scenario was, hey, I'll cut it at $5, 10 cent risk, which is 2% risk basically in this situation. So when it actually did pop all the way back up to this level, I was just like stunned, but I was so super happy because I knew that this could be a great potential overnight. Because if you look at the daily on it, think about the shorts who came into this who were like, hey, this is not going to go. This is not going to go. Here's this downtrend. It's going to break $5 and go back down to 450s, and I can make 10% as a short or 20%, whatever it might have been. But whenever that thing kind of like reversed on them, it just became very bullish. And I figured, hey, if this gets over the $6 mark, then we could have a nice swing because all these people who've been consolidating or, getting in short and kind of playing for the swing on the short side have been wrong. Then you can see these people just get squeezed. Sorry, guys. I'm still a little sick, a little under the weather there. So I'm trying to do what I can by making sure we get these YouTube videos out to educate you guys. So life goes on here. We actually do have a nice wedge break right before close. You see 570s is holding. 575s was another entry I took a couple hours before close. I called it out on Twitter, and I think I called it out in Discord for some people over on Atlas. Hey, there's a nice little wedge happening here. This thing's actually had a nice boost from the $5 mark all the way. It had a nice big volume candle where you can see, here, check this out. Let's go back to the 5-day, 5 minute. You see how it has this downtrend right here? Just like a small little downtrend or like a wedge within this channel. A lot of people are respecting that on the short side and long side. So maybe they were shorting off that and saying, hey, you know what? It's going to keep going down. Every time it touches this area, I'm going to short it. Well, this time when it broke that wedge and it broke above it, now they had no chance to get out of it. They had no chance to like take a loss on the short side and cover. Not the majority of them, right? Some of them may have because they're really quick. Or most people might not be at their computer who were short. And whenever it broke this point, it stayed above it. It didn't even come back down to test it. That's when you know it's even stronger, because a lot of those bears are going to be stuck and they've had no opportunity to get out. And some of them may be stubborn and won't take a loss because they can't get out where they're comfortable, or where they could have taken a smaller loss or been out even or whatever. So things just they go from bad to worse for the people on that side of the fence. And that today was the bears. So again, when you see this break 6s like this, you see how this is kind of pushing up, getting higher lows. I'll show you here. So this is your first high or low. This is your second high or low. I was getting in here at 575, and then I got in some more like 580s. Again, called both of those out on Discord and Twitter and things like that. And we broke 6s, and then what happens after? It actually turns into a beauty. We hold 6s just like we want, because we know that that was a big resistance area. Now it's becoming a support. And of course, later on in after hours, I think Kramer had tweeted out something about this company. You know, Zach Morris or Zach Attack has kind of been all over this play. So I just know that kind of came to fruition where it hit that hit social media a bit. So of course that led to this big spike later, because you know, anyone who has got a great following on social media, it's going to get some reaction. So of course it did get a nice reaction from 6s all the way to 740s, and honestly, I'm just holding it overnight at this point. I don't know really what to expect. I'll see what happens tomorrow. But those are my 3 plays that I've pretty much been in, or I'm looking to swing it, or kind of an update of where my swings are. I'm not really a swing trader per se, but it is a swingers market right now. And I'm more of a day trader, momentum trader, and I still make money that way. But right now, this has been a very lucrative strategy, and I'm super happy to say that there's a lot of people banking on this. So I hope you guys continue to trade and educate yourselves and become stronger every single day. If you feel like this video has helped you, please leave us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please turn on notifications. If you didn't know, we do stream live on Twitch every day, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 until about lunch. We'd love to have you. You can check out the link in the description below if you want to come check us out. All right, have a great one. Thank you guys so much for listening to this video. We'll see you on the next.